took over my dad's rodeo business, and it wasn't an overnight process, and it still isn't. He's still the boss because he writes the checks, and as long as you write the checks, you're the boss. Just kind of, I guess we both needed each other at the same time. I was needing something more than I had, and he needed something to do with it. And I'm not going to say that I was his first thought. You know, I mean, my dad's he's 85 years old. He's kind of from the era that, you know, when it comes to the rodeo business and of these type of jobs, those are boys that run those jobs. And it's, you know, it's not an unheard philosophy. It's just, it's still really hasn't changed all that much in the year 2009. But from, you know, and I'll give him credit. He was open-minded to the idea, but still it wasn't what he'd visualized. You know, when he was putting this company together, it never occurred to him that one of his daughters would be running it one day. I can now, I don't know if he's at the top of the totem pole is all that glamorous after all. Usually I'm in charge of trash pickup, any of the gates that get left open, any of the little small menial jobs. I really haven't progressed from that level. I still have that job. I guess I started, the transition would have been in, 98. And then it just progressed where I was carrying on more responsibilities and everything of that nature. You know, it started with learning probably the biggest thing to learn was learning all the horses, you know, and I was lucky because it was something that I cared a lot about, so it was easier for me. I don't really understand it myself. I can't remember where I parked at the Walmart parking lot when I walk out of the store 15 minutes later, but I can tell you a horse's name and number, you know, from the time especially if we raise him, you know, and then it's just embedded in my head, and I can remember what he looks like, and I remember what they were on him generally throughout his career, you know, if he had a bad trip or when he had a good trip. The reason that I do what I do is because of the animals. That's really no secret there. If I ever come to a point, and there's been a couple times in the last 11 years where if I was going to take a different road or if I wanted to do something else, I just can't leave these animals. These horses have become they're such a part of my life. And they're what I think of when I go to bed at night. They're what I think of when I wake up in the morning. Oh, my proudest moment would probably have to be, I raised a stud colt that was the first. I had 2 bucking horses that were the start of the string of my own horses, and I got them from my dad. And the one was a paint, we left him a stud. And he bucked him a couple of times, and then I bucked him at the College National Finals Rodeo when he was 4 years old, and I bucked him in the long round, and he was real good, and then we brought him back for the short round. He went out there and was just amazing, and that was the first time he'd been that amazing, and I'd only bucked him, you know, a handful of times at that point. And to have to sit there and watch something that you raised, you know, and I always had the philosophy that, because he's very gentle, I raised him in the backyard, he comes, eats out of your hand, eats horse cookies, you know, and everybody always said, oh, bucking horse, you know, they can't be that gentle and still buck. And so I guess that moment right there just proved that everything that I believed in was, you know, it happened. And so that's still, at this point, he's been to 2 National Finals rodeos since then. And I mean, that was wonderful to have him go. And he's had several great trips, amazing trips since then. But, you know, my dad started this rodeo company from scratch. You know, he started twice. He started once, and then there was a buyout, and he had to start all over again, and he had to go to the convention, and he started with 5 rodeos that went with him. And, you know, my mom worked all, you know, day and night trying to get pickup shirts made and make ties for the cowboys, and there was a saddle maker that worked day and night to get a saddle done in time so my dad would have her saddle to ride in the Grand Entry in Odessa, Texas, the 1st of January. And, you know, I look at that, and I look at how hard some people work just to start this company again that now, I mean, basically was handed to me. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into being one of the largest rodeo companies in the business today. That's something to be said about a lot of people that have put a lot of work into it. The legacy that I'd like to leave is that my word was always good. I didn't lie. And the animals that I had and was involved with were always taken care of. And if that can be left behind, then I guess I've accomplished everything that I wanted to do in this business.